Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. And every now and then we hit the microphone boom and add noise to the podcast. Yeah, there we go. That's fun. I'm your host, Preston Proctor. Game last night, too late. Haven't watched it. Did look at the results. So the Kings won in a shootout. The third time this season that the Kings Predators game went to a shootout. All of them. So I guess that's actually, a decent result. Being a Kings fan and a Preds fan, it's like they both got points. So that's good. They didn't split them, which I guess they did split them, but they both got 3 points out of these two games. So I guess that's a pretty good result. The Jets beat the Kraken, which affects things, and the Sharks won. The Sharks beat the Blackhawks. So 3 games last night affecting the playoff situation here in the West. The Sabres beat the Lightning, so that... Oh, yeah, Sabres beat the Lightning. I didn't even pay attention to that. But, yep, Sabres beat the Lightning, so they're tied at 102 points there in the Atlantic with Montreal 2 points behind at 100. Boston's at 95, 4 games left. They could, but probably not, gonna take a divisional spot. Heating up. Tampa Bay's got 5 games left, Buffalo 4, and Montreal 5. So, yeah, looking pretty exciting over there. Good for them. 102 points would be second in the Central Division. Just saying. Carolina is leading the Eastern Conference with 104. They also have 5 games left, so it's the top in the East. Still to be played for. Top in the West hasn't been an issue since, October 10th? What day did the season start? Anyway, so all of that's pretty exciting. Things tighten up a little bit in the Pacific Division. Really, really hoping that the Kings can take a divisional spot. Would prefer the Kings to take a provisional spot, and then that would leave a wild card because Nashville, Nashville has no chance at, none. They're 18 points away from third place. The Wild have a 14-point margin on Utah. Stick a fork in that. Minnesota, Dallas still have a game coming up between them, and they both have 5 games left. So at the second spot, the order of Dallas and Minnesota is yet to be determined. Let's just put it that way. Colorado is going to be in the top. Going to be President's Trophy winner and top of the West. And then Dallas and Minnesota have to figure where they're going to go. Yeah, the Kings winning got them within 3 points of Vegas, 4 points of Edmonton and Anaheim, so it's not out of question. They are playing Edmonton. So that gives them an opportunity to jump, to get 2 points, to make a 4-point swing, I guess you could say. Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas not playing each other. So all of those teams could kind of keep going out. San Jose, I guess, could still be in the mix. They're 2 points behind the Kings with a game in hand on everybody. So, the Kings, the Sharks, still have an opportunity to pull up into a divisional spot over in the Pacific, which would take them out of the wild card race, but then would put somebody else in the wild card race. So you can't win for losing from that standpoint. As far as the wild card race goes, the Kings jumped past Nashville with that win. Nashville getting a point kept them ahead of San Jose. So we've got Utah at 86 and the Kings at 85. Utah has 6 games left, though. They play Calgary, but they also play Nashville, Winnipeg, and St. Louis, teams that are competing for that wild card spot. And they play Edmonton and Carolina. And they play Carolina, the front end of a back-to-back at Carolina. No, at home, excuse me. They're home versus Carolina, and then they go to Calgary the next day. So, it would be, what Utah's 6-4-0 in the last 10. It would be remarkable for Utah to lose that. It would be remarkable for Utah to lose any of their to lose both wildcard spots. I think it would even be remarkable for them to drop out of the first wildcard spot, but not impossible. So Tuesday, Edmonton, the game. Utah plays Edmonton tonight, and then they'll play Nashville on Thursday. Tonight, the Kings are, tonight the Kings are not playing. Yeah, the Preds are in a back-to-back with Anaheim and LA, and neither of those are in back-to-back situations. So, the Preds play Anaheim tonight, and then play Utah on Thursday. Then Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim. Not an easy schedule for the Preds to finish out the season. The Sharks, 1 point behind them, have Edmonton, Anaheim, Vancouver, Nashville, Chicago, and Winnipeg. So they've got two teams that have been eliminated from the playoffs, two teams that they're competing with, and two teams. Why are they? Oh, I guess two teams that they could potentially. Oh, that's true. That's true. San Jose, in their quest to potentially have a divisional spot, play Edmonton and Anaheim, two of the teams that are ahead of them in the division. Could be. Utah plays Edmonton tonight. What is that? What is Edmonton's schedule? Do they have back-to-backs? Where's Edmonton? Oh yeah, back-to-backs. Edmonton has Utah tonight and then San Jose tomorrow. Okay. Well, hey, it's an exciting time for the NHL coming up here. You know who it's not an exciting time for are Kraken fans. The Kraken are 1-7-2 in their last 10. They've got 6 games remaining, 75 points. So 6 games remaining, 12. That gives them a max of 87. 87 point would put them a tie with Edmonton and Anaheim. So their chances at a divisional spot, nil. Let's just say it. I'm just going to call it nil. And then they're 8 points out of a wild card spot right now with 6 games remaining. So, we're going to be pulling the plug on the Kraken here soon. Calgary, 72 points, 6 games left. That gives them a max of 84. So, I guess the first wild card spot's currently 83. So Calgary should get eliminated here soon. Calgary probably plays tonight, and 4-7 is that 4-7? Is that today? It's today. Yeah. So they play at the Sharks. They just beat the Ducks though. Calgary just beat the Ducks 5-3. Oh, they've got Dallas, Colorado, and then Dallas and Colorado next, Tuesday, Thursday. So Calgary, you can pull the plug on Calgary in the next couple of days, one way or another. And they'll be the next team to drop out, and then Seattle sometime after that. Over in the East, just where the Devils just fired their coach. 83, they got 5 games left, so 93 points. Ottawa's at 90, so Philadelphia at 90. So a couple more games before you can pull the plug on another team out there in the East. So, lots of things going on with the wild card, but nothing new on anybody being eliminated or getting a spot. So still 4 teams have secured their spot in the East. 3 have been eliminated. 3 teams have secured their spot all in the Central Division in the Western Conference, and 2 teams have been eliminated. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. More teams have been eliminated in the East than the West, but there you go. There you go. So, with that, if you've been eliminated, you know what you could use? You get eliminated. Yeah, then it's like, knew it was coming. Now it's time to, kind of relax, maybe put on, a nice little hoodie or a lounge set. And you can head on over to cozyearth.com. They've got a brushed bamboo jogger set for $164. Comes in a few different colors. The Stretch Tech hoodie and jogger set, $238. Only comes in 4 colors, but that's still good. So how many colors are these things? But there you go. And if you get over there, you can use the promo code PredsPro and get 21% off. Let's see. It comes in coal heather, cacao, jet black, and eclipse. There you go. You can get a crew neck and jogger, hoodie and jogger, a quarter zip and jogger. All in that. That's cozyearth.com, PredsPro. And then after, getting a little cozy, feeling a little better about yourself, head on over to quantumsquares.com. Get a little caffeine, protein, no junk, 100 milligrams of caffeine, 10 grams of protein, and 100 milligrams of caffeine, 10 grams of protein, and a nice little square. Goes in your cycling jersey just fine. They've got a variety 8-pack. I prefer the variety 12-pack. The variety 12-pack comes with 2 of every flavor. It's $28, but with the promo code PredsPro, you get 25% off. It's only $21 and free shipping at $35. So quantumsquares.com, PredsPro, 25% off. Right. So tonight, the Nashville Predators finishing off the back-to-back in the LA area, going down to Anaheim to play the Ducks. Maybe get a little Merlot tiramisu. I was working in Anaheim years ago, and one of the guys I was working with was from Detroit, big Red Wings fan, and so we went to a game, and he couldn't believe it. All the. You go up to the stand and, they've got Merlot and Cab and all kinds of different wines. And then they've got tiramisu and, and he's looking at this going, that's not hockey. That's not how you play hockey. You can't play hockey if you're eating tiramisu. No tiramisu for you. Anyway, so the Anaheim Ducks, they are currently second, tied with Edmonton, right? Tied with Edmonton, 87, but Edmonton has the regulation win advantage of 6 over Anaheim. They have the most regulation wins in the Pacific Division, 30, so that they would win the tie over everybody. And that's pretty good. So Edmonton wins the tie there, so Anaheim will have 5 games left. They won't be able to gain that advantage even if Edmonton didn't win another game in regulation. So any tie with Edmonton, they're going to lose. So they need to beat them in points. But right now they are tied at 87 with the Knights right behind them. Yeah, it's pretty exciting over there. The Ducks are 23-12-3 at home. Good home record. Not doing so well on this homestand. They got a 5-game homestand. This is the 3rd of it. They're 0-2. They lost 2-6 to St. Louis on Friday and 3-5 to Calgary on Saturday. Next up for them is Thursday, San Jose, and then Sunday, Vancouver. And then they'll finish the season with 2 road games, Minnesota and Nashville. Last game of the year, Nashville and Anaheim. This is the 2nd game of 3 versus Anaheim. 3rd game will be in the future. Not going back to the past to play that game. Nope. Anaheim is 1-0-0. They did win 5-2 in Nashville back in October. So this is the only game in Anaheim between these two teams this year. April 16th will be the last game. Last year, Anaheim swept the Preds, swept them 5-2 in Anaheim in January, 2-1 in March, and then 4-1 in March. The first two games were in Anaheim and the last game in Nashville. The last two games also only 6 days apart. Somehow they like to schedule Anaheim and Nashville close together, but whatever, it's a schedule. They have 6 people on their injured list, starting with somebody that's got a lot of stats for them. The first 3 expected back on 4/7, which is today, so they could be in here. And those 3 are number 61 left wing Cutter Gauthier, Cutter, with a name like Cutter. You wouldn't think he'd be French. It could be French-Canadian. Who knows? Gauthier. Who knows? We'll go Gauthier. And we'll move on. Expected back on the 7th. He was day-to-day as of the 5th. The first 4 all from the 5th. Number 7, defenseman Radko Gudas. Day-to-day, expected back today. Number 98, defenseman Pavel Mentuyakov. Tuyakov? I think that's right. Yeah, expected back today. Number 44, left wing Ross Johnston. Day-to-day, not expected back till the 16th. Not expected back till the 16th. So he not expected back until the last game of the year. So he may or may not be back this season, before the postseason, that is. And then number 24, center Jansen Harkins, week to week, not expected back till the end of April. So he may miss the beginning of the postseason. And then number 34, goaltender Peter Mrazek, out for the season from the middle of February. He's out until September 15th. With all of that going on, they did on the 4th recall number 16 defenseman Tyson Hines from the AHL San Diego Gulls. They did have 2 trades at the trade deadline. Mention it because we haven't talked about them. They got defenseman John Carlson from Washington for a first-round conditional 2026 pick and a third-round 2027. If Anaheim doesn't make the playoffs, they can opt to make that 2026 pick a first-round 2027. Looks like Anaheim should make it, so it looks like it will be a first-round 2026 pick for Washington. And the other pick is that they got a 7th-round 2027 pick from Calgary for forward Ryan Strome. And so that is the situation there with the Ducks. For the Preds, they are 5th in the Central with 82 points, 36, 31-10, 16, 16-7 on the road. Didn't win last night, but they still, tied in wins losses. So that's exciting. This is the 4th of 6, so the 3rd of 5, depending on how you count it. They're 2-1-1, losing to Tampa Bay on Sunday, 2-3, beating LA in a shootout Thursday, 5-4, beating San Jose Saturday, 6-3, and then losing last night, 2-3 in a shootout to LA. They will wrap up the road trip with a game in Utah, and they'll play the Mammoth. That's right. This is the back end of a back-to-back that neither the Kings or Anaheim are participating in, and they're clear on either side of the game. And after this road trip, the Preds will finish with 3 at home: Minnesota, San Jose, and these Ducks again. Notable personnel changes. Number 41 defenseman Nicholas Hague is still out, now expected back today, had been expected back yesterday. We'll see how that goes. But they did recall defenseman number 82 Jordan Oesterle from Milwaukee. Interesting as far as where the Preds are with their players. They've still got a few players who are unrestricted free agents at the end of this year, and Oesterle is one of them. So I think, this is a good opportunity for him to show whether he can play with the team in circumstances like this. He's been with the team a little bit, but yep. Who was it? They've got a couple of regulars. Eric Halla is an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year, and Tyson Jost unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. And then we got Jordan Osterley. Justin Barron is a restricted free agent at the end of this year. So as far as the players that, are with the Preds right now, they have signed, they've got contracts extensions with a few players. And that's, but as far as the players that they're playing with, those are the guys that still are unrestricted free agent. With restricted free agents, they've got a few in Milwaukee. Kevin Gravel is an unrestricted free agent. I swear I thought he had been re-signed, but I guess not. And then Andreas England, defenseman that has played with the Preds NHL club quite a bit. And then Magnus Krona, goaltender, unrestricted free agent. So a couple of people. The restricted free agents, they can, as long as they make a qualifying or offer, then they can negotiate it out. So you're not at risk of losing somebody like you are an unrestricted free agent. So it'd be kind of nice. Well, I mean, I guess they get to decide what they're going to do here. Tyson Yost, he's 28. Eric Haula, he's 35. And what the players want to do and what the team wants to do and move on. But there you go. So Osterley, that just was called up, is one of those who's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. And with that, let's go and start talking about some stats. Right. So statistics. When we start off, but let's just recap last night's game a little bit here because I think that's kind of interesting, especially where we're at, because there were only 2 penalties in last games, and then they overlapped. So the Preds did have a 5-on-3. They did get a goal, thank goodness, during that 5-on-3. Yeah, so 1 goal in the first scored by the Kings. So they got the first goal. Then in the second period, the Preds tied it up on a power play. Then the Kings scored, so 1-1. So they tied the second, and then they won the third. Lost the first, tied the second, won the third. No goals in overtime. And then Kempe with the only goal in the shootout. So that only went the first 3 rounds. 3 rounds, not 5. I think I told my brother it was 5. But all right, so Preds did not get the first goal last night, and they lost in a shootout. When they do get the first goal, they're 7-2-3. So what are we up to? 39 goals and 39 games, and only 12 of them they've gotten the first goal. So it's not something that happens quite a bit. The scoring in the first period for the Preds on the road not been the best this year. It's gotten better. At some point, I got to figure out where it started getting better and take a look at that. When they don't get the first goal, they're 9-14-4. And that one of the 4 last night. The Preds continued to lose the first period. They're 8-17-14 in the first period. Tied the second period, so now they're 11-15-13. And won the third period, so now 14-12-13 in the third period. Fairly evenly distributed between the second and third, but boy, wildly, mostly ties and losses in the first period. The Preds didn't get the first goal last night, so they still have not lost the first period when they get the first goal. And they have not won. Oh, when they got the first goal. Okay, when they got the first goal. When they've gotten the first goal, they haven't won in overtime. They've lost 3 times and twice went to a shootout, but they did win those 2 shootout games. Yeah, interesting. When they got the first goal, they won the shootout. When they did not get the first goal, they lost the shootout, and the two data points for both of those. But that's kind of interesting. I guess they on the road. That's 3 wins. They've won 3 times in overtime, and only when they did not get the first goal. Yeah, some interesting scenarios here. But let's take a look at what the Preds do in the period when they win-lose it. So when they win the first period, they're 5-3. Lose the first period, they're 3-14. And then tie the first period, they're 8-6. So winning and tying look okay. Yeah, losing doesn't seem so good. Second period, 7-4 when they win it. When they lose it, 5-10. So don't lose hope. 4-9 when they tie it. So don't lose hope if they lose or tie it. But the only good result really looks like winning the second period. The third period, 9-5 when they win, 1-11 when they lose, and 6-7 when they tie. So let's look at the combinatorics between the first and second period. The good thing is, you could win or tie. Just a quick glance here. They do have a winning record when they lose the first, but they have to win the second. So if they lose the first and they don't win the second, things don't look so good. Here you go. The scenario that happened last night has happened 9 times this season. Out of 39 games, 9 times. So no easy math there. I guess 36 would be 1-4, right? So, just slightly less than 25% of the time, they lose the first and tie the second. They're 1-5-3 in those games. So that's not good. They lose both periods. That's happened 5 times and lost all of those. But if they lose the first and win the second 3 times, they have won 2 of those games. Winning the second does have good results in every scenario. Losing the second has good results if they won the first. So, and then they have not won the first and tied the second this season. If they tie the first, tie the second, that's a winning record too. So if they happen to lose either the first or second, that's only remedied by winning it. And last night they didn't do that. So that wound up being a loss. So I guess we could have seen that coming. As far as the combination between the second and third period, the only really good scenario is winning the third. And that looks good in all different combinations. Losing the third looks bad in all combinations. Tying the third looks okay if they won the second. So if they didn't win the second, you better hope they win the third. But if they lose the second or tie the second, they can win the third, and that's a good result. But if they lose or tie the second, and they lose or tie the third, then not so great. So what they do last night, they tied the second, won the third, and that's happened 6 times, which is the most frequent. Out of these 9 scenarios, 6 is the most, 3 is the least, but 6 times in 3, 0-3. So tie the second, win the third. They have not lost in regulation any games, and they've won 3 in regulation. So not a bad result. So that's the correlation. So that takes us to goal scoring, and I did work on this, and I've got even more data on the transitions between the second and third period. But let's start this out where we normally do, talking about when the winning goal is being scored. Last night, the shootout again. So that's actually happened 4 times this season, which is the same number of times as the winning goal has been scored in the first. The winning goal being scored in the second and third period primarily, 10 and 13 overall. When the Preds win, 7 times in the third, which is the most of any period by more than 2 times. 3 was the next. And then when the opposition wins, it's evenly distributed between the second and third, 7 in the second and 6 in the third. So no, mostly for the Preds, the third period. And then the home team won last night, so the home team has won 38 games. And Yes, and the home team has won more times, gotten the winning goal more times in a shootout than in overtime. And then the shootout is tied with the first period. So 5 in both of those, 2 in overtime, 12 in the second, and 14 in the third. And not the case when the road team wins, only twice in shootout, which is less than the first period of 3. There's not really a whole lot of data points there, but 6 times in overtime, 12 in the third, and 11 in the second. There you go. As far as scoring, the Kings outscored the Preds last night in the first period. 1 goal, but that now made the differential in the first period 15. And like I said, a 3-1 advantage for the opposition when they win in the first period. 9 goals, only 9 goals scored in all of the games that they've lost on the road. 9 goals in the first period. 20 in the games that they've won, so they have a goal advantage of 4 in the first period in games in which they've won. The second period, they've been outscored by 4. They're outscoring their opponents by 6 when they win, 20-14, and being outscored by 10, 14-24 in games in which they lose. They have a 2-goal advantage over the opponents in the third period, which they had 1 goal advantage last night. 24-10 in games in which they lose, 22-34 in games 24-10 in games they win, 22-34 games in which they lose. Let's see, no empty net goals last night, so the Preds still have 8, and the opposition has 7. So that means the Preds still have a 1-goal advantage without pulling the goaltender. As far as, this is not a stat I want to talk about. We'll get to that with the back-to-backs anyway. So as far as goal scoring, coming into the second period, winning, tied, and losing the second period on the road, the thing that has happened the most, which is what happened last night, losing. So 17 times that has happened. The Preds are being outscored 13-16. They're being outscored by 3 in the 17 games in which they come into the second period losing. Their eventual record is now 3-11-3, 2-11 in regulation, 1-3 in overtime, in extra time. And how that breaks out. So of those 17 games, twice they came into the third period winning. They won both of those games. They have not gone into the third period tied after coming into the second period losing. And of the 15 games that they came into the third period losing after coming into the second period losing, they're 0-11 in regulation, 1-2 in overtime, and 0-1 in a shootout. And so, coming in losing in the second period and continuing that tradition, not a good scenario. For the coming into the second period tied, which is the second most thing that happens, only 3, but there you go, 14 times. And they've outscored their opponents 18-10. Their eventual record 8-4-2, which is good. So that's like my favorite scenario. So again, coming into the second period tied has happened 14 times. 7 times they have gone into the third period winning. Of those 7 games, they are 4-1 in regulation, and then the other 2 games were a loss, 1 in overtime and 1 in a shootout. Of those 14, 4 times they went into the third period tied. So in the second period tied, third period tied, and they're 2-1 in regulation and 1-0 in a shootout. So that not too bad of a result, 3 out of 4. And of the 3 games that they go into the third period losing after coming into the second period tied, they're 0-2 in regulation, but 1-0 in overtime. So they did manage to turn one of those games around. The final scenario for the second period is to come into it winning, which has happened 8 times. The Preds being outscored 12-3. 12-3. Their eventual record 5-1-2. And coming into the second period winning 8 times, 4 times. 4 times they went to the third period winning. They're 2-0 in regulation, 0-1 in overtime, and 1-0 in a shootout. So not too bad a result, but something, you come into the second period winning, you go into the third period winning, you kind of like to think that you could hold on to all of those games, but not so much. Of the 2 games that they came into the second period winning, but went into the third period tied, both of those wound up going to overtime, and they're 1-1 in those games. And the 2 games that they came into the second period winning, but went to the third period losing, they're actually 1-1 in regulation. So that's kind of exciting. As for the third period, those numbers, those are goals. Got my numbers mixed up. As for the third period, the most frequent thing is to come into it losing like they did last night. 20 times now, and they have outscored their opponents 26-25. Their opponents do have 7 empty net goals, and the Preds have 1. No empty net goals last night. So with the goaltenders in place, they are outscoring their opponents 25-18 in those 20 games. Their eventual record, though, 3-14-3. 1-14 in regulation and 2-3 in extra time. The next frequent scenario is to come into the third period winning 13 times and all even, 14-14 in goal scoring. The Preds do have 7 empty net goals, so they come into the third period winning 13 times, and they've been outscored 14-7 with the goaltenders in place. Their eventual record is 9-1-3, though, 8-1 in regulation, 1-3 in extra time. So, and then finally, 6 times they come to the third period tied, and all just about even, 6-5 in those 6 games. Goal scoring. Preds are 4-1-1 in that scenario, though. 2-1 in regulation, 2-1 in extra time. So that's not too bad. Coming into the third period tied, coming into the third period winning, both of those good. Coming into the third period losing, not what you'd want. Not quite able to turn that ship around too well. 1-14 in regulation and 2-3 in extra time. And that goal scoring wrap up will take us to matchups. Okay, so the Preds are on the road, which means the Ducks are at home. Home teams have played between 36 and 40 games. Anaheim's played 38, puts them right in the middle. 17 have played more, 10 have played the same, 4 have played less. The Ducks are 7th in the league for home teams in scoring at home, 3.47 goals a game. League average 3.15, so 0.32 above average. The first period, they're 10th, 0.97 a game with league average 0.9. The second period kind of falls off a little bit as far as the rankings, just to 12th, 1.13 goals a game. League averages 1.08, and then 6th in the third. 1.24, league average 1.09. So they are above average in scoring in all 3 periods. Raw numbers, 37, 43, and 47. So their goal scoring increases through the game. Which, I guess some teams are doing that now. So that's pretty intimidating right there. As far as being scored on, they're 2nd in the league in being scored on. They've given up 133 goals to 132 scored, so they've given up 1 more goal than they have scored. But yeah, they're second in the league in giving up goals for home teams, 3.5 goals a game. League average is 3.02, so almost half a goal more a game than the league average. They're tops in the league in being scored on in the first period, 1.13. League average is 0.86, so that's what, 0.25, 27, something like that. The second period, they're eighth in the league in giving up goals, 1.18. League average is 1, and then they continue that with giving up goals, 1.18, with the league average 1.07. So they are above average in giving up goals in every period. So looks like there's a lot of scoring in Ducks games for both sides. Can you keep up is the question. Good question. The Preds are 20th in the league in scoring, 2.87 goals a game. League average is 3.02. They are 22nd in the first period. We all know about that. 0.74, league average 0.86. 26th, and they actually drop in the rankings even though they scored more goals, 29 to 34 goals in the first to goals in the second, but they drop in the rankings. 0.87 in the second with league average 1. And then they're eighth in the league in scoring in the third period, 1.18 with a league average 1.07. So the third period, the only period in which they are above average in scoring. But the Ducks like to give up goals. So maybe, the Preds have been more prolific lately. So I guess we'll see how that plays out. But they are also prolific in giving up goals. The Preds are 11th in the league, giving up 3.36 goals a game. I guess just from raw numbers. So the Preds have played 39 road games, 38 for the Ducks. So they played one more game, but 2 less goals against and 20 less goals for. Anyway, so 3.36 for the Preds overall. They're third in the league in giving up goals in the first period, 1.13, which is the same average as the Ducks. The Ducks are tops, and the Preds are third. Preds clamp it down a little bit in the second period, 0.97 goals a game. League average is 1.08. And then they go back up to 15th, 1.13. League average 1.09. So right about league average in the third, above average in the first, and below average in the second. Comparing that to the Ducks kind of go down in the second period, so maybe that'll work out. The third period should be scoring. I mean, if you want to believe the averages, Preds like to score, like to give up goals. Ducks like to score, and they like to give up goals in the third period. So we will see how that plays out. As far as special teams go, the Ducks, not a very good penalty kill team at home. On the road, they're better. They're 15th. They're 15th on the road, but 28th at home, 74.3%. 29 goals given up on 113 opportunities, 1 shorthanded goal scored. Time shorthanded, 8th per games played. Goals against per games played, 3rd. So a lot of opportunities and then more goals. So 8th in opportunities and 3rd in goal scoring. So that's not very good. The Preds are 13th in the league for road teams. 80.5%, 22 goals against on 113 opportunities. So they've had the same opportunities shorthanded as the Ducks, but 7 less goals. So what's that? Like 25% less goals. They have scored 3 shorthanded goals. Time shorthanded, 20th, so below league average. Goals against per games played, 18th, so 20th in opportunities and 18th in being scored on, which isn't great, but it's better than the 8-3 of the Ducks. The power play, the Ducks' power play on the road is awful. At home, better. They're 17th in the league for home teams, 19.8%, 26 goals for on 131 opportunities, 1 shorthanded goal. Power play per games play is 4th, so 8th shorthanded and 4th power play. So it looks like there's penalties, plenty of penalties in games with the Ducks. Goals for per games play is 14th, though, 4th in opportunities, 14th in scoring. So both of their ratios go the wrong directions. For the Preds, 14th best power play in the NHL, 21.4%, 24 goals on 112 opportunities, so 2 less on 19 less opportunities. 1 shorthanded goal scored on. And as far as power plays per game played, they're 11th. And goals for per games played, 12th. So that's pretty close. 11th and 12th versus 20 and 18. So let's take a look at my spreadsheet. So by the way, I count things a little bit different than the NHL. I finally figured that out. My number's not exactly the same as theirs because last night the Kings had overlapping penalties. So there was a 5-on-4, a 5-on-3, and a 5-on-4. For me, that's 3 opportunities. You got the 2 5-on-4 and 1 5-on-3. The NHL would count that as 2 opportunities, and so get slightly different numbers. The Preds did get a goal in the 5-on-3 situation, so now they've got 6 goals on 51 opportunities, which is just 12%, which is not great. But they did get a goal, so it's good. They now have 1 goal more than the opposition does on 1 more opportunity, so 118 opportunities for the Preds, 117 for the opponents. 23 goals for the Preds, 22 for the opponents, and that's all road stats. They are running at a 35% clip in the first period, 12 goals on 34 opportunities. 23 goals and 12 of them came in the first period. So, hopefully some of the opportunities against the Ducks tonight, which looks like we should have some, hopefully they're in the first period. Hopefully the Preds can stay at that 35% clip. That would be nice. 12%, as I said, in the second, 15 in the third. The opposition running in the periods 23, 18, and 14%. Their percentages go down, so does their opportunities, most of the opportunities and the goals in the first period. They have 10 goals on 43 opportunities in the first, then 7 on 38 and 5 on 36. And that is the matchups, the special teams. So let's talk about people to watch. People to watch. Yeah. Okay. They didn't play, so I didn't need to do that. Delete those rows. Let's just tighten this up a little bit, or not, depending on whether Excel wants to cooperate. So what we're going to start with is somebody that's injured, might be back tonight, don't know. Number 61, left wing cutter Gauthier. I think I decided to stick with that one, right? Gauthier, anyway, moving on. First in goals at home with 22, just as a frame of reference. Second is 15. But he's first in goals, first in points, 38, and first in shots, 131. So the second in shots is 90. So a lot of things with the Ducks kind of run through him, and he benefits from it. Well, I guess he's got 16 assists. So 2. Next up, and somebody that's not injured will be in the game tonight, is number 91 center Leo Carlson. They have a John Carlson and a Leo Carlson. As Carlson spelled different, the Leo has 2 S's in his last name, and he plays center. John Carlson, defenseman, part of the trade with Washington. So number 91 center Leo Carlson, he's second with 15, second in goals with 15, and he's second in assists with 20, and he's second in points with 35. I should have looked at this already, but previewing the lineups, just curious here, which Ducks like to play together. Let's see, who have we got? We got Carlson with Granlund. Oh yeah, Granlund, who used to play for the Preds. So Carlson with 2 S's, centers the first line. And Gauthier not expected to play, so they're not listing him anywhere. So I guess that's, not even, a lot of times they'll have them listed, but have like a red cross symbol on them indicating that they're injured, but they do not have that for Gauthier, so maybe he won't be in. Their assist leader is number 2 defenseman Jackson Lacombe. Leading in ice time is the aforementioned John Carlson, number 74 defenseman with 24:04. And then aforementioned Granlund, number 64 center Mikkel Granlund, 5th in ice time with 19:17, leads the forwards in ice time. And then finally, number 45 right wing Beckett Seneca, who is second in shots with 90. Gauthier is also second in plus minus with 12. So I thought that was kind of interesting. He leads the team in points and plus minus. But I guess not expected back tonight. Let's see, Lacombe and Trouba are the first pair. Yeah, so Mintyuk, for instance, is injured, but he's on the second line with Carlson. They've got a little red cross symbol up there. So maybe that's a little clue that Mintyuk will be back, but Carlson or Gauthier won't. I guess we'll have to wait and see. For the Preds, leading it off, finally at the top. Didn't talk about this guy much earlier in the season in the road. Usually, he was saving his performances for Bridgestone Arena, but leading the team, number 9, left wing Philip Forsberg, first in goals, 17 goals, first in points with 32. That is a tie with O'Reilly. Leads the team in shots with 108. Nashville's played one more game than the Ducks Ducks on the road, Ducks at home, Nashville on the road. But Gauthier has 131 shots leading the team, and Forsberg has 108. So kind of 23 shot difference there. Pretty significant, I think. Second on the Preds is at 95, and second for the Ducks is 90. So big difference there between first and second for the Ducks. Next up is number 91 center Steven Stamkos. The only thing to talk about is second on the team with 16 goals. Then the aforementioned O'Reilly, number 90, Mr. Stat, not captain center, Ryan O'Reilly, third in goals with 11, tied in third, that is. Tied at first in assists with 21. He's tied with everything. He's tied in goals. He's tied in assists. He's tied at points. And he's third in ice time, 2026. Tied with O'Reilly with assist is number 77 right wing Luke Evangelista. And Roman Josi is first in ice time, number 59 the captain, defenseman Roman Josi, first with 25-37, second in shots with 95. Then also third in goals with 11, just like O'Reilly, is number 71 right wing Matthew Wood. His shooting percentage has gone down, and another guy whose shooting percentage has gone down, but still above 20% is number 85 defenseman Ryan Ufko. 1 goal on 4 shots. So as far as momentum goes, Anaheim is 23-12-3 at home, which is pretty good. Pretty good. They are 4-4-2 in their last 10. They have lost 5 in a row. Woof. They did lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They did lose 9 games in a row at one point, and then came back and won 7 in a row. And then they've won 5 in a row. But this 5 besides that, 3 is the most. And that's only once. I mean, a few twos, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Wow. But yeah, 5 in a row, and that's after winning 4 in a row. They seem pretty streaky. So yeah, they have lost 5 in a row, which includes the last game to Calgary, who's been eliminated. They lost 5-3 there. Not sure if something in particular happened around the 28th. I looked at the people being injured and didn't see anything noticeable there. So they come into the tonight's game with a 5-game losing streak with a 4-game winning streak. And they're in a 10 after all of that 5-game losing streak, and they're tied for the top of the Pacific. Anyway, so they're 0-2-0 in this homestand. They were 0-1 on the last one. They are 11-9-1 versus the Central. At home, they're only 5-6. They've beaten Winnipeg twice and also beaten Utah, Chicago, and Dallas. And then their losses are Utah, Dallas, Minnesota, Colorado, and St. Louis twice. So no overtime losses there. On the road, they're a little bit better, but they're playing at home tonight. So there you go. That's the Ducks. I think that's the Ducks. That's the Ducks, and they've got 5 games left. Would you say they're desperate? I would say there's somebody desperate. Well, no, that was Vegas. Vegas just changed their coach. I would not say they're desperate. I would not say they're in danger of not making the playoffs. But this is not the way you want to go into the playoffs. So they got 5 games left, and I had this up above. The Ducks, who are the Ducks playing San Jose, Vancouver, Minnesota, and Nashville. So they don't have a very easy schedule coming up. I think we're going to see penalties. It's not going to benefit them, but I think they're going to try to motivate their team, and they seem to take a lot of penalties. It doesn't really seem motivating, but that's there you go. So the Ducks not coming into this game in a good situation. For the Preds, they are 16-16-7 on the road. They just lost in a shootout after having won 2 in a row. That makes them 6-3-1 in their last 10. Talk about a team that is desperate. The Preds do need to win. They got a point last night, which is good, but their upcoming schedule, everybody they're playing is in a playoff, looking for the playoff position. So they've got a tough schedule. They are 2-1-1 on this road trip, 1-0 on the last one. They're in a back-to-back situation, which we'll talk about in a minute. Against the Pacific, they are 13-5-3. 13-5-3 against the Pacific Division. On the road, they're now 5-4-2. They have won 4-4. They are 4-4 in regulation and 1-2 in a shootout. So they've got they're pretty good against the Pacific Division at home. They do on the road. But they've got a win against Calgary, 2 losses against Edmonton, a win against San Jose, a win and a loss on Seattle, and a win and a loss against Vegas, overtime loss to Vancouver, and then a shootout loss to Vancouver, and a shootout win and loss to the Kings. So there you go. Last night's opponent. Yeah, that's funny. 3 games against the Kings all went to shootouts. Funny. So that's where they're at with regards to the Pacific Division. As far as the back-to-back situation, they're now 12-13 in these games. They did lose last night, which is the first time in a back-to-back away situation that they lost the first game. They had won the first game in the other 3 times. Any time that they have lost the first game, they did win. They lost to Chicago, then beat Washington. And so they do have a situation. And that was a home and home. That was a home and home. But that's the only time that they have lost the first one and then came back and won the second one. On the road, the back end, they are 2-6. 2-6. Yeah, this is the first time they've lost the front end on the road was last night. They're 4-1 on the first one. So that was a change in state. And so hopefully we'll get a change in state tonight with the Preds picking up the win. Should be a tough game. This is really quite the matchup. And, coming here at the end of the season with both teams fighting for a playoff and frankly, Anaheim not coming into the game looking very good, and a lot of injuries, which is unfortunate. But we'll see how that plays out tonight. See who's there and who's not. So yeah, 9:00 tonight, 9:00 Central Time. Preds versus the Ducks. Go Preds! Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.